You're good.
Okay, we're on. Could we do a roll call, please?
Yes.
Tony? Be looking over the minutes.
Okay, Patricia Caputo. Here. Stewart.
Here.
David.
Here.
Me. I'm here. Joanne.
Here.
Donald. Here. Maureen.
Here.
Ruth.
Here.
David.
Here.
John.
Here.
Other John. Here. Bobby.
Here.
Joyce.
Yes.
Michael.
Here.
Dan. Abby.
Yes.
Eva.
Here.
Monica.
Here.
And then I understand we have Michelle.
Yes.
Right, okay, got it. All right, everyone's here and accounted for, and we have some guests in the room.
We have a quorum.
Yes, we have a
All
quorum.
right, thank you. In the future, please call the committee first and then the officers. Thank you. All right. I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented, made by John Gregg,
Second.
seconded by Ruth Treese. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will be accepted as presented. We're gonna go a little bit out of order today because Abby's here and she wants to say hello to us. Go ahead, Abby. The floor is all yours.
Is that number 2?
Yes.
Number 2 doesn't work.
Here.
Hello? Okay. Hi, how are you all? We are just here to give you a brief summary and history of the fact that in Century Village, Boca Raton, we started using scanners to scan the tickets, and Pembroke Pines. We started this summer, and we didn't want to bring them here yet because you have mostly volunteers. We wanted to make sure that they were effective and working good. There's a lot of benefits. I'm going to let Michelle, who's really been handling this project, bring you up to speed with the costs and see if you have any interest in pursuing this. It is a very minimal cost, which is not budgeted currently, but I think we can find the money to do it if you wanted to start it, if you liked what she had to say, and then we could budget for it to really go into full swing in season.
So this is the scanner. It's an Android. It works just like your phone. When you turn it on, you have like a home screen, and then you have apps that you can download. It automatically comes with the Audience View app, which allows you to scan them. So,
Which is our ticketing system.
so it automatically syncs. So that means instead of ripping the ticket, we will be scanning the ticket. There's 2 places you could scan. There's a barcode on this side, and then there's a QR code right here. I added the barcode because the QR code was really small. And I couldn't put it under here because we had too much verbiage. So basically all they do, once they log in once. It's going to ask them which show. It only shows the show for 12 hours, so that means that they're only gonna see one show. And the reason why you wanna click on the show is so that the system knows the title. Because what happens is if someone comes with a different show, it's gonna say, this is not the right show. So all they do is they take it and they scan it. And it goes green, you're good, or it will say red. The reason it will be in red is if it's the wrong show. The ticket had already been scanned, meaning if they came in earlier, it will actually tell you exactly what time it was scanned, by who, and which scanner scanned it. Or it could be a reprinted ticket. So the original ticket, right now what happens is somebody comes up to the box office and says, I lost my ticket, I need a reprint. So that in the system, they reprint the ticket.
And we charge them.
And we charge them $3 per ticket. The problem is that there's nothing stopping me, I'm the resident, giving my original ticket to Abby and then me using my new ticket. There's no way that an usher would know. The only way to know is by scanning. So what happens in the system is as soon as they do a reprint, and I would train the staff on how to do this, it's very simple, it's a click of a button. It says, do you want a new barcode? So once you hit that, then the original ticket is no longer valid. And if it's scanned, it will say that it was reprinted. And it will not allow them to come in.
This came up because we have them getting scanned. We also have the ushers, it's, as much as they look at the ticket, they don't. So there are times when people have gone into the theater with the wrong ticket. You know, it's hard, especially in season. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going to the locations, Christian and I stand and watch them. And I would say, I mean, they'll learn, but the first couple of weeks we had a bunch of wrong shows. And it could be a mistake, they grab, it's the same color, they grab the wrong show, or it could not be a mistake.
So we've given you some information.
We've given you some information, the pros and the cons of, mostly the pros of how it benefits us. But every theater that you go in the country, including movie theaters for the most part, you're seeing people scan them. As far as reprinting goes, this season alone, you had 50 reprints, which we've made a profit of $150 for that. Which is a high number. You have the highest number out of any village of reprints. That's people that are forgetting their tickets or lost their tickets. And again, you are profiting from it. But every other, and I'm here to inform you, I'm not here to make a decision for you, but I want to inform you that every other Century Village has gone up in price with the reprints. You're at $3. If you were interested, we would suggest you going to $5.
Yeah, just one question. With our existing system at the door, we generally have 2 ushers, each of them ripping tickets. And, typically a lot of people wait to the last minute and it's a rush. How quickly does that scan and give you the color? Seconds. So one of those units.
All you do is press this button and it goes.
One of those units would replace 2 people ripping real easily and not slow down the line.
Correct, and we would have your Wi-Fi tested prior to, which we did in the other villages, to make sure the Wi-Fi is strong enough. We believe it is in your community because it's only these 2 doors that you're going in and out of. But we would have the Wi-Fi tested to make sure, and the only time they wouldn't work is if the Wi-Fi was down, but neither will our ticket system or anything else.
How long prior to the start of the show does it work? Up until 5 minutes, 10 minutes after? Because we don't always close the door at 8 o'clock.
It will open way before the show starts.
No, I'm talking about when the show does start. Does it
Oh yeah,
start
it will still
or
work.
does it
Yeah.
continue?
No, we'll continue.
Okay, because sometimes we leave the doors open in like 10 minutes or so before
Yeah.
we.
Once the show is over at 9:30, it won't work anymore.
Right.
Once the show is closed, yeah.
And is this also for the movies as well? Or
No, this would just be for.
We don't issue tickets for movies,
No, that's true.
nor for dances, but it would work for the Halloween, the ticketed dance events. It would work for that.
Okay.
Does this require the physical scanners, or is there a phone app or a similar API that would work?
Physical scanners, and you will see in the brochure that Michelle gave you,
The pricing, yeah.
the pricing for 2 of them. It would be $1,760, $880 per. And then if we needed to add additional Wi-Fi, which we don't think we do, but we don't know, the whole thing would come to $3,200. But initially, to just make the purchase, it would be $880.
And then there's no cost moving forward.
So we would want to purchase 2 scanners initially, and then if, you never have more than 2 people ripping tickets, do you?
Three.
Yes.
Three.
We have
Sometimes.
three.
Okay, so in season, we would probably buy 2 more, so we had one as a backup and one as a third.
Well, season, we have 2 at each door all the time.
So we'd have 4.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Now
we would,
have 2.
if you were interested, we are strongly suggesting to train people. We are strongly suggesting you purchase them in the summer. We can certainly find the $1,760. And then if you, moving forward, we would purchase 2 more that would be under a new budget for season, and maybe even a 5th one, excuse me, as a backup. But before we do any of this, we want to make sure that your Wi-Fi is strong enough. Because that's an issue, that's a definite issue, has been an issue elsewhere, we don't think it is here.
You said they happened in Boca. How long have they happened in Boca?
Since April.
Since April.
And
So
for
they haven't
clients.
gone through a whole entire season yet. I was just wondering the shelf life of them. You know, like how long are they supposed to last? Like,
It comes with a 1-year warranty.
1 year.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, just wondering.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
But because this is like a phone, an Android,
Yeah.
it will, whenever the app updates, it automatically updates. We get the updated software.
Okay.
I'm, at this particular time, my personal feeling is, I would rather have different colored tickets that people could visually see what colored tickets, than spending $3,000 for something that, on a system that we're already losing money. That's my personal opinion. If we were making money, if we were breaking even, I could say, okay, it's worth it. This year, I think we was close to $40,000, okay? We had 1 break-even year, and we had the rest of all losing years. I know that the other Century Villages love to subsidize their things, but I think we do enough subsidizing in here to spend that kind of money. I really don't think, I think it's a waste of time and effort. That's my personal opinion.
Again, we're here, we don't want to do something at any Century Village and not inform you. And then you come back and say, well, why did you know?
You
So-
got people raising hands all over.
Go ahead.
How many wrong tickets have we gotten in a year's time?
Maureen, would you know that?
No, oh, no, I
I'm sure it's a very low
don't.
percentage.
Number?
I don't really think that's the issue. The issue is, are
Certainly,
people,
that's one of the benefits of
Well,
what
they
they're
may not be
saying.
seeing them.
it's twofold, but I think more, we believe we have people scamming us, that they say that they lose their tickets, give them to somebody else. We don't have anybody escort them to their seats to know whether or not they've already got people sitting there, which would indicate that they are scamming. So we have the highest reprint rates. We do believe that there's some scamming going on. So this is just a way to take care of that. It will identify immediately if those tickets have already been presented. That's all.
There's a question back there.
Okay.
You know, the Wi-Fi in Century Village is an iffy thing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. So what are you going to do when it goes off 10 minutes before the show?
We have a private Wi-Fi in the
We
clubhouse.
wouldn't be using.
We wouldn't be
the
using
public.
the public one.
The Wi-Fi in here doesn't work half the time.
We're not using this Wi-Fi.
Oh,
We're
it's
using a
separate
private.
A private Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
So if you're using a private Wi-Fi, you know, how come we can't get the public Wi-Fi to work as good as the private Wi-Fi?
Because you have less people using the private than the public.
And in case of emergency, you just go back to what you've been doing and you book the tickets, and we can scan them later.
Does anybody want to make a motion that we, David, you have a question?
Since there's no motion on this issue, why don't we just bypass this?
Well, that's why I'm asking for a motion. Does anybody want to make a motion? Anybody want to make a motion? Okay, move on. Thank you, Abby.
Thank you. Would you want to increase your reprint fees from $3 to $5?
That's perfect.
Yeah. I
Charge
think
them
that's a
double,
good idea.
whatever the normal ticket is.
Well, 5 would have to make change with singles.
Yeah. So let's, if you agree with that, let's make can we make a motion to increase from $3 to $5 for reprints?
I say make it the whole.
Excuse me, everyone.
Hold on, one at a time.
There's been way too much chattering today. I could hear Gene from all the way across the room. If we could all just please speak one at a time, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Go ahead, Maureen.
Why can't you just charge the whole fee for the lost ticket?
What?
You know, instead of charging $5, charge $6 through the summer and the
Whatever
face
you
value
want
of
to
the
do.
ticket.
Well, why don't you make a motion and see if anybody will second it?
I make a motion to change the.
Charge the
to
full
allow-
price? Okay. Anybody wanna second that motion?
I'll second her motion.
Okay.
John, we can hear the motion again, I barely heard.
To increase the price for the price. If they lose their ticket and they want to come get another ticket, they have to pay another $10.
It basically wouldn't be a reprint fee, period, end of,
It'll be a new ticket.
there would be, you just have to buy a new ticket, there would be no reprint fee.
Buy a new ticket for whatever the face value
I
is.
guarantee you they'll
whatever
put
it
a
is.
scam on them.
I
What
also-
happens if they want their seat though?
Too bad.
Hello?
They don't have a ticket, no seat.
I mean, that's
I do want to say that we do change the ticket colors from season to season. We don't print the same color from season to season.
Maybe that might be a thing to change every show, have its own colored ticket. This way, you can't use that ticket for the wrong show.
That would be very difficult.
We don't have that many
because-
colors to do that, like in a month.
And if
That would
someone
cost a lot of
orders a whole
money to buy all that.
season, someone orders a whole season at once and orders 20 shows, we'd have to be changing out that ticket paper, and again, we don't have enough
It was only a
colors.
suggestion.
Oh, no, I know, we've talked about that, but we don't have enough.
David?
Yes, David?
I go to just about all the shows, and this is the first time I ever knew you could reprint a ticket. Times that I forgot my ticket, and I never brought the wrong one in, at times that I got there, so I don't have a ticket, I went back and got my ticket. Why don't we just, to me, why not just eliminate reprinting tickets? If they want a ticket, pay the price.
Just stick it in the ticket.
I think the signage to be put in the ticket office, that if you lose your ticket, we will not be replaced, you will have to pay for a new ticket. Let them know in advance.
Yeah, whether they're a guest.
I mean, to me, that makes more sense than maybe they won't lose their ticket or they don't want to give it to their friends.
I guarantee you won't have 58 lost tickets.
I go to the crowd center, and people lose their tickets, and they just walk up to the window and they reprint it, they get a seat. There's no need to charge these people so much money, people make mistakes all the time. If they lose their tickets, they left them in the car, they did something foolish with them. We should have an avenue to accommodate people, we're not here to penalize them, I don't think. So, that's my comment.
Tickets at the Kravitz are triple the price that they are here.
I
too.
understand.
So I
I
can see them
understand.
doing that, and they're a big entity. Also,
Okay,
like here,
All right.
you know.
Well, we have a motion and we have
Motion's on the floor.
a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion on that motion?
That was my discussion. It was a good idea.
Take the vote.
Oh, we'll call a vote.
Maureen.
Wait, could you repeat the
motion?
Make the motion.
Repeat the motion.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to charge full price to have a ticket reprinted.
Yeah.
A lost ticket.
Yeah.
A lost ticket reprinted.
Yep. That's it.
All right?
It's either yes or no.
Maureen, vote?
Yes.
Yes. Ruth? Yes. John Furness?
Dave?
Dave, sorry, I'm Greg wrong.
Yes?
Yes. John?
Yes. Which John?
Greg.
Yes.
John Hess now.
Yes. That's John G. and John H.
Okay. Bobby Levin. Yes. Ruth Treese. Joyce, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Joyce Reed. Yes. Michael.
Yes.
All right, and Patricia.
No.
Stuart.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Joanne. No. All right, it looks like motion carries.
I'm a no, by the way. You didn't call my name.
Oh, I'm sorry, I always leave you the last because I
That's
just want
okay.
me to do.
That's fine.
What was
We
your
will
vote
get
now?
this, we will
Yeah,
get
I
this
can't hear
into
what
the
people
season
are voting.
brochure for
Okay.
25%.
Yeah.
If you lose your
Motion carried.
ticket, you will have to purchase a new ticket and you cannot be guaranteed your seat either.
Right.
You won't get your seat.
Exactly. You get a new seat.
That's fine. Anything else anybody have for us, this department?
Oh, is there going to be a dance on the 4th of July in the evening?
What day is that on?
Friday.
Yes.
Friday, there is.
Is that a special dance?
No.
I don't know.
Just a regular Friday, it just happens to fall on 4th of July when we have our party in the afternoon.
Yes, that's why I was wondering if you were going to schedule a dance on that evening, with the fireworks going on and everything.
David?
Tony,
Yes.
what was the count on the motion? We can't hear you. You need to use the microphone.
I'm sorry, I don't have. 10 yes and 4 no.
So motion
Thank you.
passes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Abby and Michelle.
Thank you, Abby. Have a nice day. It was good to see you.
See, it looks like a G. It'll give you some.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks.
All right. Miss Monica, you're up next.
Okay,
Lady with the number.
thank you, Fausto. Good afternoon, everybody. This afternoon, we're looking at your statement of operations, and this is for the 5 months ended March 31st. For the month of March, our total revenue for the month was $569,000. Our total expenses for the month, $565,000, so we have a profit of $3,679. Yeah, for the 5 months, our total revenue is $2,836,000. When we had budgeted $2,811,000, so we have a positive variance in total revenues over our budgeted revenues of $25,000. Regarding your revenues, for the 5 months, our total revenues are $2,865,000, which means year-to-date we have a loss of $49,000. We had actually budgeted a loss for that period of $140,000, so we have a positive variance of $91,000. If you look down the far right-hand side of your expenses, you'll see that most, I think there's only 3 line items that are over budget, but the majority of the line items are definitely under budget. Any questions there? Okay. The bottom of this report is your social activity summary broken out between your theater, dances, and movies. Your theater income for the month of March was $65,649. We spent $77,500 on your theater performances. We spent $1,420 on your dances and $1,605 on your movies. So between your theater, dances, and movies, we spent $80,525. So we have a loss for the month of $14,876. Year to date, our theater income is $216,000, and our dance income is just over $10,000. So our total revenue for the 2 activities, $227,000. We spent between your theater, dances, and movies $264,000. So we have a year-to-date loss of $37,000. We had budgeted a year-to-date loss of $71,000. So at least that is a positive variance of $33,745. The next report is your cash balances. Your operating funds as of March 31st amount to $568,000. In our windstorm deductible reserves, we have $1,142,000. You'll notice there's a new bank account here where I moved some money from some of the other accounts and opened a new bank account because we were nearing the $250,000 level insurance, FDIC insurance. So I've moved some money around with that new account. Your contingency and infrastructure improvement reserves total $470,000. So your total reserved funds $1,612,667, and your total available cash, $2,180,000. Questions? Okay. The next report is your social activity summaries, and this is for the month of April. For the month of April, we only had 3 shows because there was no theater performance on Saturday, April 12th, which was Passover. So theater attendance, for the month, 564 people attended the 3 shows. We collected $3,666. After reducing that for our audience view cost and sales tax, our net sales of $3,062. We paid the performer $2,950, so we have a profit of $113. Yeah, Friday, better than a loss. For your Friday night dances, there were 4 dances, 473 people attended the dances. We paid the DJs $1,460. Regarding your movies, we also had 4 movies during the month, 726 people attending your movies. We paid $1,284 for the movies. So when you combine your theater, your dances, and your movies, for the month of the month of April, we have a loss of $2,631. Any questions? Okay. The next report is the revenue collected from guests. This is also through the month of April. Year to date, we had resident box office sales of $116,541. Year to date, box office sales to guests are $60,410. So right below that, you can see that's a split of 66% of our total box office sales have been residents and 34% to guests. Included in the theater income, we have collected $4,130. I'm on the wrong line. Next column over is the number of tickets sold. We sold 9,822 tickets to residents, 4,130 tickets to guests, for a total of 13,952 tickets. Included in the theater ticket sales is the $3 per ticket price for the guests, so that amounts to $12,380 that we collected in guest revenue attributable to theater tickets. We have also collected $20,393 of guest passes sold in the ID office, an additional $8,272 sold in the staff office. So year to date, we have collected $41,055 in guest fees in this community. Any questions? Okay. The last report I have is the Estoppel results, and this is also through the end of April. Year to date, you'll see the total number of units sold in this community this year is 204 units, as compared to the same period in the prior year, which were 279 units. So that's a decrease, huge decrease of 75 units or 27%. Year to date, we've collected $43,750. In the same period last year, we collected $59,690, so it's a decrease of $15,940. Yes, Joyce?
How would the other Century Villages do in comparison to this?
You guys have the largest percentage of decrease in the number of sales. Boca is break even. They were decreasing, but they've leveled out now, and they're pretty much where they were last year. We are seeing decreases in Pembroke Pines, but not as significant as they are in West Palm.
Do you think there's a specific reason why Century West Palm Beach?
I don't know,
Off the top of your head.
I'm guessing
Yeah.
that maybe one of the reasons in West Palm is because what you have going on right outside your gate here with the golf course being plowed under, but that's
Yeah.
purely speculation,
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
thank you.
I really, you know,
I think it's more the hotel.
it could be
Like,
part,
and also we
partially
have-
the hotel,
We
yes.
have a lot of empty units. We have several in our building.
Do
We
you?
have a lot less people looking. So
What about rentals?
that's why they have to decrease.
We have a lot of rentals.
Didn't we also lead in sales for years of any of the other villages? We had the highest sales?
Yes, we were when,
Uh,
yes, we were.
I don't know if I'd say you had the highest sales, but,
We were
maybe.
one year.
You know, I don't know. The sales in Pembroke Pines are down, I think, because of the structural integrity reserve requirements, and because every single one of their buildings are subject to all of those reserves, and their condo association fees have, in some cases, more than doubled from what they were the previous month. And the condo market there really is in a bad place, so, that's what I attribute their decline in the number of sales to, but that's not the case here, so.
Actually, it is. I'm getting raised $200 a month because of what happened in Surfside. The house is falling. We are paying for it. The insurance went up. All the people in the 3 stories and higher were getting killed. I mean,
On insurance.
200, none of that. My maintenance is going up $200 per month for the next, I don't know how many years until we reach 1.3 million. So a lot of people were selling because of that. And when people come in, the real estates are giving that information, which they should. I don't want them to come in and start fighting with us.
No.
So I think that's really why there's such a big decline besides La Quinta. A lot of people weren't happy about that. There's a reason. Also, remember there was a tremendous influx at one time from up north. And that's when, and the Canadians,
Right,
you know, they bought like crazy. Nobody's buying, they're looking to sell.
yeah.
It's become, a lot of people don't make a very high social security. It's becoming a real problem for them. People tell me, but I can't afford it, Patricia. I said, listen, it's not a figure we want to do. It's a figure that we were told to do by the engineer.
Mhm.
If we don't reach that money, then what? Would you rather get assessed for 20,000, 30,000? So it's a problem. There's a lot of elderly people here and they only have a very, very limited income.
Sure.
Yes, John?
I was just gonna say that, Golden Lakes, I have a friend that used to live over there, but moved here. They went from 600 a year to over 1,000 a year in their building, you know, so, you know. And we're getting a lot of renters anyway. We are getting a lot of renters, you know, because, most of the people in here still work. And you see them every morning going, you know. And it's, all they want to do is come home, maybe go to the theater every now and then, watch TV and drink a beer, you know. Where people like me, you know, they're out there doing it, you know. So,
Do the rentals have an effect on the sales also? I mean, we have a lot of renters that are here. I mean, we see it at the Newco all the time.
Well, you know,
More so than when I moved here 11 years ago. No, sorry, 14.
you know, the one thing I can tell you is that, you know, we have our asset recovery program, which has been a popular program that we've had for like 12 years or so now. And prior to 2020, just about every time we had a unit in this community that went for a foreclosure sale, WPRF was almost always the successful bidder. Since 2020, every single unit that's gone to a foreclosure sale, WPRF has not been the successful bidder because you have all these investors out there that are snapping up everything they can, right, with the intent, presumably, of renting rather than fixing up and flipping. They just want to rent. So there's been a tremendous increase in the number of investors in the community and other communities as well.
just, It's just renters don't support
No.
the village. That's just what it is.
But listen, we know that there's a problem. The problem has been ongoing for the last 10 years. It's gotten worse and worse. And as the population increases, the old people, when I came here 25 years ago, I remember Saturday, we used to have 2 shows.
Yeah.
An early and a late show.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
now we can't even sell out 1 show a year. So that should tell you something. Either we're doing something wrong or the wrong people are living here. It's a 50-50 deal. All right, let's move on. Monica, you finished? I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right, Dan, you're up.
Good afternoon. Southampton Pool. Okay, we just checked. I was actually on the phone with we're this week we should be getting our finals. Oh, sorry. Testing. Yes. Okay. This week we should be finaling out. Right now we're putting the partitions inside there. There'll be seal coating going on by the end of this week. But my guys are going to be painting the deck. Okay, sometime the next following week. But everything's coming to a tight end here. It's butting up pretty decently, you know. So I'm looking at the end of this week, though, for sure to get the finals from the city. Okay. I'm going to go out there after this because I just finished talking to the contractor. But I know I just talked to Kevin. They're out there putting the partitions in, and they just ordered, if I'm not mistaken, all the paper towel dispensers and stuff to put inside the bathrooms and all. Okay. So it's a matter of just they'll be sealing the deck, if I'm not mistaken, this week, and also the next following week is to paint the rest of whatever has to be painted on the deck. You know, am I right? No? Okay. But it's looking at any questions, Dave? Yeah, go ahead.
You have a anticipated opening date.
Well, we're going to say that that first week in June, but if it happens before then, she will let you know. But I'm just looking at that week in June because these guys are going to be painting the deck and all, okay? The way it's going right now, I'll be done by the end of this month, okay, with the inspections and everything, but we have some final little touches that we have to do with our personnel to finish it up, okay?
Thank you.
That's yours, Gulfstream. It's good, no?
Or did you want to,
I'll go back on to that.
All right, just to mention that Gulfstream Goodwill had one of their events, first of its kind here on Friday, while they were very organized on paper and in the meeting prior to the event, I think that they were seriously disorganized. So we're going to have a post-op meeting so that we can fix some of this and get them going in the right direction. There were a lot of things promised that didn't happen.
Well, a lot of things happened that were never mentioned.
Well, that too. So, yeah.
But I think I've had a lot of positive feedback from the Friday. They have a representative that comes on Friday that has had a lot of intake, people asking a lot of questions.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
I think there's lots of people that have been asking questions and finding a way to find community services. And that's what this whole program's about. It's homeless prevention and it's finding your way to community services. Them showing up with a bunch of food on Friday was totally unanticipated and very haphazard. So that type of thing just won't happen again. It just can't happen again. So I have been meeting with Gulfstream people. We can't let that happen.
Well, if it does, it has to be much more organized and it needs to be vetted. You know, when you say free, people show up, but that doesn't mean that they can't buy food because they've got to buy their medication. And that's what we want. We want those people who have to make that choice and are buying cat food or dog food, right? Those are the people. But I saw some people in there that I would have put money on that they, weren't in that situation. So I know. But there was supposed to be a number included where that people were supposed to register for that. So that was not included on the form. Yeah. So we're going to do, like I said, we're going to tighten it up.
So what's going to happen now on the third Friday of the month?
Well, they're supposed to come, and there is supposed to be a food pantry. You know, it was very nice to look at. It was all fresh produce. A lot of it was fresh produce. There were, eggs, things like that. But we just wanted to be more organized than what it was. The volunteers should not have been the ones moving the tables, and she'd been told over and over again, any kind of room setup should go through Melissa, because then we get Glow and our maintenance guys in there, and they did none of that. As many times as we communicated back and forth, there was just this complete disconnect. So we're gonna work on that.
How is there a way to make sure that the needy people get, in other words, like you said, what happened last Friday, anyone could just, I mean, they told everyone, oh, go take food, but it upset me because I'm sure there are people who are needy, and how do you control that?
Well, this was, and I had asked her this specifically, and that she could cross-reference other programs to see if any of our residents who would pre-register for this were applying for any of those other programs that they would have to qualify for. But the number was never included in the flyer, so we had very few people that actually registered for this. So as I said, we're going to have a meeting and tighten everything up, and we want it to run better. Yeah.
We'll get there.
I would like to make a suggestion, have you run a food pantry, that whoever shows up there gets pre-qualified.
That's what I think, yeah.
The food pantry that I ran, the people that came had a 3x5 index card, and they were told 1 adult, 2 children, whatever it was, and based on their needs, we did 3 meals a day for 3 days.
Right.
Every 21 days they could come, and maybe they should incorporate that. There are people that are homebound that might be able to, can call in on the phone, and you know, besides coming in and registering, I think that pre-qualification in advance would make it a lot more easier on them and
Yes.
easier for the food to get to the right people.
Right. You know, they were giving out these bags, so you could have 2 white bags that were the equivalent of like a Publix bag. But there was only one person giving it out, but they didn't make sure that everybody followed one line. So then people were showing up on the other side, they didn't have bags, and they had their own bags, and so.
We're gonna work on it.
It needs to be better organized.
Much better organized, yes, much better
But
organized.
thank you, Eva and Joanne, for the hard work that you did to try to help the community.
That will be ongoing, because we know that there are a lot of people that are in really dire straits, so we wanna make sure.
We'll reach them.
Yeah.
We're gonna find ways to reach people.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely, without question. Yes.
all right, Dan, you're up.
Yes. We're getting, we did have bids for the painting, but they were from at least 6 months back, so I'm waiting for one more, and we're gonna have it back by the end of this week. I'll be bringing them over to Eva, and she'll take it over to you guys, okay? Take a look at it, make a decisions for the
When was
clubhouse.
the last time, was it painted 7 years ago, 8 years ago?
Almost 10.
Almost 10?
Almost 10.
Yeah, it's gotta be at least
About
10.
10 years?
Okay.
We have a lot of stress cracks and stuff that are coming out through there, that just from where the windows were and stuff like that, and it's just time for it to be resealed.
No, outdoors.
Outdoors.
Okay.
Exterior.
It's all outside. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the same color, right, that we're keeping,
Yes.
right?
Same color.
Purple and white?
Oh, purple and orange.
You got it?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything for the good of the order? Jean,
Yes,
good of the order, now's your time to speak.
okay, well, I just need Eva to answer the flyer that I gave her.
Mhm.
I know all about it and she does, so that everyone here knows. And also, Donald needs to speak on the security of this village.
What is your question?
Gene, not everybody here has read your flyer or know what you're talking about, so why don't you give everybody the basics so that we know what we're doing, all right?
They do have my flyer.
Please tell us what your problem is, so we have it on video, exactly how we can help you.
Okay,
You gotta have,
what was that?
Can't hear you over here.
I can use the mic.
Yes, you can do it.
We've already had this
Thank you. Somebody calling on the freaking phone.
Go ahead, Jean.
Okay. Donald took down the fence so that Seacrest could do work on the canal.
All right, we're
Which-
going to stop you right there, Jean. The thing you're talking about is not the business of this committee. That is the business of UCO. This is not a UCO security or bids infrastructure committee. This is the operations committee, which has to do with the recreational facility
And security for the village.
for the clubhouse. Just so everybody understands, what Jean is about to tell you is about the South Canal project and the fence that was removed 8 or 10 years ago. And
No, it was
I'm sorry, Jean, I am speaking now.
It was
Jean,
not long ago.
let's be civil now. This matter doesn't even belong in this room, but just to clear it up, there is a ongoing project on the South Canal. It's about to be dredged. Once that's done, the fence is going to be restored along the entire length, and we already have proposals for that. So to answer your question directly, Jean, as soon as the dredging project is over, the next job will be to install a new fence. Did that adequately answer your question?
No, why are people walking in here that are not allowed? And we have a gate for people to come in. Why is that being manned if there's open territory that people can just walk in here, and they are?
Okay, Jean, we do have instances of people using the canal to get into the village. In almost all cases, they turned out to be people that are visiting or just for some reason or another. However, rest assured that security is keeping a good eye on the website.
No, they are not.
I'm sorry you disagree.
There's nobody doing any security there because people I know have checked it out.
Yes, people you know have checked it out, I understand. Thank you, Jean, we appreciate your input.
No, you're wrong, Donald. They are trespassing and they are not stopped or told to leave.
Okay, thank you for your input. We appreciate it.
You can't complain.
What else you have, Jean?
What was that?
Was that the only thing that you wanted to discuss?
Jean, was there anything to do with the
Yeah,
recreational facility you'd like to discuss?
Operations is to do with people bringing drugs in here and distributing in some of our facilities, such as karaoke, where they put doctored cupcakes on the table, and one person who was 86 years old ate one of these cupcakes and had to go to the hospital. It could have killed her.
Right, so WPRF, I contacted our legal department and we got out a letter of suspension immediately. He's also been told that he's not allowed to bring any food items into the clubhouse, okay? I would love to suspend him permanently. I'm not able to do that. Our documents don't allow for that. What I'm able to do is suspend 30 days at a time. So with each infraction, if it meets the criteria, then he will be suspended again and again and again. So then we have a situation, well, so now the wife brings in the food, all right?
That's
So,
what happened last.
right. And I'm very disappointed with the way the police handled it. They would have handled it totally differently if she had passed, but she didn't, and so they really didn't do much of anything. You know?
Even a
And
report to the police.
And I know, look, he's got the totally wrong attitude. He feels victimized in this situation. He has no sympathy for the woman that wound up in the hospital. What do you do with somebody like that?
The guy's total jerk.
Right, but I don't get to suspend him permanently and keep him out of the clubhouse. I would like to, but I don't have, the documents don't support that. We cannot do that. So that's unfortunate. So what I need is for the residents to be vigilant. Let me know immediately and I will do everything I can to continue to suspend him if he meets the criteria. Joyce?
Can we not prohibit food? That no food may be brought in?
Well, but people bring food into the clubhouse all the time for all kinds of events. So we're gonna be punishing everybody rather than just trying to control the one who's causing the problems. So, you know, when the wife came in carrying a pizza that was ordered from the outside, not something that they made at home, they allowed it in. All right? But we don't, but listen, word of mouth, everybody that's in karaoke has to know what's going on.
They do.
All right, so they know better. Do not accept anything from them. I don't care if it's a Twinkie and the cellophane packaging is intact, I wouldn't take it from them.
They're sort of,
I'm sorry?
they're sort of isolated.
Well,
I
they
mean,
should be after what they
everybody,
did.
You know, it's like, don't talk to them.
I know, but like I said, the sad thing is that he doesn't get it. He feels victimized instead of being sorry what he did to this woman. She will never get an apology from him. So it's unfortunate, but listen, when you've got the amount of people we've got here, we've got a little bit of everything. And some of it's not very pretty when you look at it. We'll do the best we can to keep an eye on it, but again, I need my residents to be my eyes and my ears. And I will jump on it.
Eva,
David.
just to bring this up in front of everybody, on Friday nights, there is several card games going on. And there is one card game where they have one person is vaping
Okay.
right in the room. I informed Eva of it. And the last Friday or whatever night it was all taken care of. So you do follow through on things.
If I know, I'm gonna jump on it. Listen, I'm your last resort. If I don't do something, then what? So I take that part of my job very seriously, and I always appreciate, David, that you reach out and you let me know what I need to know, and I'm on it immediately. And I've got Lawrence, who also gets with his people, and they're on it immediately. Nobody should have to put up with that. David?
Yeah, two things. One is, I second what David said. I wouldn't want your job of having to deal with all the complaints day after day, some crazy things that people in Century Village would do, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
The second thing is, it is a major impact that the Wi-Fi in this room isn't fully functional. Even when it's on, it's not strong enough. And, you know, I'm coming at this from a selfish point. For Dover, we've got 240 units. And when we have a meeting of the board, we need to have it on, so we can Zoom participants in. We've got a 20-person board, and there's times in off-season that we need to get a quorum and have pretty significant things answered. And I've had 3 meetings now where we advertised it and set up Zoom, and I couldn't get on because the Wi-Fi signal wasn't strong enough. So whatever you could do to get an extender, you know, for this room, at least one place in the clubhouse where we could have a Zoom meeting, because a lot of people are using that now.
Yes, more and more, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, there's more of a draw.
And this room's perfect for it, hardware-wise. It's just, we need the Wi-Fi too.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael back there with a question.
Yes, Michael?
If I could comment on that. I ran a speed and network stability test in the party room. The front area, that one will work. I tried to Zoom stream for a similar reason, and it did hold.
It did,
so
okay.
that one spot I have found will work.
Oh, great. Yeah, you know, we could have it there, but
Well, you could, but I'll find out what the cost would be to boost this.
put an extender in.
Yes, this is one of our most used rooms, and that's why we have this TV here too.
Wow.
So you should be able to have all the tools necessary to make it work.
Yeah.
So I will get with DSL.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Yes, John?
I called, but we go home. She got a quick question.
Well, go ahead, you fight with each other. Go ahead.
The budget meeting for next year, when?
Could you speak up? I'm sorry, Maureen.
That, we will be presenting the budget the end of September, Monica, is that right? No, August.
End of August.
August, end of August. We have to present by September 1st, so we always present the meeting in August.
Wasn't the
So
June
like the
meeting
last
date changed?
Tuesday?
Yes,
June was to the 17th,
Right.
1 week earlier.
Yeah, so it's like the last Tuesday? Because I'm not.
It is the last Tuesday of August. Last Tuesday of August.
Yes, John?
I say, I make a motion to go home.
Okay, seconded by the other John. Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend.
There's two